Marvel fans can't stop buzzing about the most colossal cast announcement in cinematic history. In a single day, Marvel dropped a lineup so massive that it felt like half the MCU and a major portion of the Fox X-Men universe were about to collide. But as excited as everyone was, there was one glaring problem. Key fan favorites were missing. Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, none of them were mentioned. It left viewers wondering if Marvel was playing some elaborate PR game, or if something far more surprising was going on behind the scenes. Today we're diving headfirst into this bombshell reveal, dissecting who's confirmed, who's conspicuously absent, and how on earth Marvel expects to juggle up to 80 heroes in one film. Ready for the shocking details? But first, if you enjoy this content, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on exciting new videos. Welcome to Screen Scramble. Let's dive in. The official reveal. The official announcement for Avengers Doomsday took place over 5.5 hours, revealing nearly 30 names in total. As fans watched each cast member flash across their screens, it was clear that Marvel meant business. Even so, what really set the internet on fire was the sheer variety. Classic Avengers standing shoulder to shoulder with a batch of legendary Fox X-Men. Below is a rundown of some of the major players who were confirmed during this first wave. All of them teased for integral roles in this new story. Robert Downey Jr. steps into the role of Dr. Victor Von Doom, marking his first time portraying one of Marvel's most formidable villains on the big screen. His surprising shift from playing the hero as Iron Man to embodying the menacing ruler of Latveria has fans buzzing about how drastically different he'll be from his previous charismatic persona. Scarlett Johansson steps back into the role of Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, a surprise many believed impossible after her on-screen sacrifice. Chris Hemsworth is slated to bring the thunder once more as Thor, promising cosmic-level fireworks. On the comedic side, Paul Rudd reprises his role as Scott Lang, Ant-Man, presumably with more size-shifting, reality-bending antics up his sleeve. The Guardians contingent appears as well, with Karen Gillan confirmed to continue Nebula's redemption arc, Dave Bautista back as the hilariously blunt Drax, and Pom Klementieff as the endearing empath Mantis. That alone had fans cheering, but the real jaw-dropper was the inclusion of multiple Fox X-Men legends. Sir Patrick Stewart returns as Professor Charles Xavier, his calm authority a perfect foil for the rest of the team. Sir Ian McKellen reemerges as Eric Lehnsherr, better known as Magneto, fueling speculation that mutant versus Avenger tensions might be the film's core conflict. Halle Berry reprises her role as Aurora Monroe, Storm. Famke Janssen is confirmed to return as Jean Grey, and James Marsden joins as Scott Summers, Cyclops. Anna Paquin will also appear as Rogue, while Shawn Ashmore steps back in as Iceman, and Kelsey Grammer is rumored to bring his classic gravitas as Beast. These iconic X-Men characters, combined with the returning Avengers, sent social media into a frenzy, with many fans celebrating the dream mashup they'd been hoping for since Disney acquired Fox. Yet, as mind-blowing as this lineup appeared, speculation erupted the moment everyone realized exactly who wasn't on the list: the missing heroes. Within minutes of the announcement, fans took to message boards and comment sections to point out glaring omissions. Tom Holland's Spider-Man, arguably one of Marvel's most bankable stars, was missing in action. Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, fresh off mind-bending adventures in the multiverse, was nowhere to be found. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, someone you'd expect on the front lines, didn't even get a mention. Add to that the absence of Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, and Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, and you get a rising tide of disbelief. People started asking, is Marvel intentionally holding back these major names? Or did scheduling conflicts and storyline decisions push them out? One theory centers on the idea that these more cosmic or magically inclined heroes, like Strange and Captain Marvel, may be part of a much larger second reveal. Another rumor claims that actors like Tom Holland are still in the midst of negotiations, especially considering Sony's involvement. Whether it's about secrecy or legal entanglements, fans are convinced there's more to the story. After all, the official channels barely waited before hinting this was merely round one. Marvel's cryptic response. if the fan chatter wasn't already intense, Robert Downey Jr. stoked the fire by posting a celebratory note about how the cast list was essentially a deep bench of talent and joking that it must be it for the film. In a move that felt calculated to spark even more speculation, Marvel's official response was, "There's always room for more." These four little words sent fan speculation to new heights. Were they just acknowledging the missing Avengers? Or did they mean dozens of additional characters were about to join the mix? Adding to the mystery, major outlets like Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter weighed in with insider intel. They claimed that the nearly 30 names released were just the tip of the iceberg, suggesting the final tally could soar well beyond 60. While Kevin Feige, the mastermind behind the MCU, once joked that 100,000 heroes can't fit into one film, it appears Marvel might be aiming to stuff as many favorites as they can into these next two Avenger-level stories. One moment fans are thrilled at the possibilities, and the next they're anxious about how any director could keep track of so many plots, personalities, and powers. And what happened next would spark even bigger questions. People began compiling lists of potential cast members who might be saved for a second wave of announcements, or even a separate Avengers installment altogether. How do you fit 80 heroes in one movie? The biggest question looming over this reveal is, how does Marvel plan to juggle 60, 70, or even 80 heroes in a single coherent story? After all, even Avengers Endgame, which was massive, had a tough time giving each main character meaningful screen time. With Avengers Doomsday, the stakes seem exponentially higher. Longtime viewers have become especially wary after seeing what happens when a movie tries to cram too many plot lines into one film. Could this be a repeat of past superhero team-up missteps? Or does Marvel have a secret formula? Part of the speculation revolves around the concept of splitting up the narrative. Rather than throwing everyone into the same location, it's possible Avengers Doomsday will segment story arcs across different realms, timelines, or even parallel universes. That way, clusters of characters tackle their own missions, only converging for the final showdown. Another angle is that some fan favorites might only appear briefly, delivering cameo-level appearances rather than central roles. Fans who dream of seeing their beloved heroes on screen understand that not everyone can get full arcs, but they still want those epic team-up moments that define the MCU. If Marvel strategically balances these elements, Doomsday could become an unforgettable spectacle, though it's walking a tightrope between epic masterpiece and chaotic overload. Battleworld, Secret Wars, and everything in between. Adding more fuel to the fire are rumors that Avengers Doomsday isn't just a standalone project, it's increasingly looking like a stepping stone to a far bigger storyline, possibly culminating in Secret Wars and the epic concept of Battleworld. If you've read the comics, you know that Battleworld mashes together multiple universes into one patchwork reality, forcing heroes and villains from across the Marvel multiverse to face off. Industry insiders suggest this might not simply be two or three separate movies, but rather a giant narrative that threads across multiple films, streaming shows, and possibly special presentations. Characters like Wolverine and Deadpool have already teased a comedic yet serious approach to ripping open the multiverse. Meanwhile, the introduction of the Fox X-Men roster indicates that the rumored Avengers vs. X-Men concept could be central. After all, fan discourse exploded when the 13th announcement in this wave of reveals happened to align with references to Captain America: Civil War, a film the Russo brothers directed. Some see that as a sign we'll witness another hero versus hero conflict, this time on a cosmic scale. But that wasn't the whole story. The more hardcore fans pointed to cameo teases from What If, or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that might make their way into Doomsday or Secret Wars. Between variant versions of existing heroes and brand new faces, it seems Marvel is leaving no stone unturned. Except maybe the ones that require complicated rights negotiations with Sony. That brings us to one particular corner of the conversation. Who's really in and who's out? Because the second wave of announcements is looming, fans are eager for news about beloved characters who didn't make the initial cut. Figures like Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange top the list of likely additions given how integral they've been in prior phases. Not to mention, Brie Larson's Captain Marvel has proven herself one of the MCU's heavy hitters. Others, like Chris Evans as Steve Rogers or Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, might show up in a cameo capacity or in some variant storyline. The missing X-Men from the original Fox trilogy, like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine or the rumored cameo by Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool may slip in through comedic post-credit sequences or interdimensional crossovers. Then there's the big question mark over the Eternals. They have only had one film so far, and with a cosmic-level threat looming, it stands to reason that at least some of them would appear in Doomsday. Rumors swirl that actors like Gemma Chan or Richard Madden have scheduled cameo scenes. There's also talk of new characters teased in post-credit scenes. Harry Styles as Eros, for instance, that could be roped in to keep the expansions rolling. But if we're talking expansions, we should also address the elephant in the room, Sony's Marvel Universe. While the MCU has done cameo crossovers with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, we're unlikely to see someone like Morbius or Madame Web show up here, because they lack either the nostalgic or thematic tie that would justify including them. The only potential outlier is Tom Hardy's Venom, and even that's still up in the air. Fans who were hopeful for an all-encompassing every Spider-Man universe storyline might have to settle for something more targeted, and far less reliant on Sony's side characters. In the end, it's crucial to keep in mind that Marvel seems intent on surprising viewers at every turn. If the past is any indication, they'll continue dropping cameo bombs and hidden references all the way until opening day. By then, we might be dealing with a cast list so large it'll set a record in the Guinness Book, provided they can maintain some semblance of an actual plot. So here we are, a massive initial reveal featuring returning Avengers legends and iconic Fox X-Men, paired with a pointed reminder that there's always room for more. Marvel might be orchestrating its biggest gamble yet, an unprecedented attempt to weave dozens upon dozens of heroes and villains into a single, coherent storyline. Whether it becomes the magnum opus of superhero cinema or collapses under its own ambition remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the speculation, rumors, and shocking surprises won't slow down anytime soon. If you think this announcement was wild, just wait until round 2 of reveals starts rolling in, because the one thing Marvel loves more than delivering hype is outdoing itself on the next go around. If you enjoyed this deep dive into all things Avengers Doomsday, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. There's a ton more Marvel news on the horizon, and you won't want to miss any theories, leaks, or official updates. Plus, subscribing is the best way to keep this conversation going, because let's be honest, the MCU is only getting bigger, and we need every mind on deck to untangle what's next. Stick around, and I'll be back soon with more insights, breakdowns, and the latest secrets from the world of Marvel. Scrambled out.